Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an amazing day today. You know what we do at Bouqui'S Place? We don't talk about the glitz or the glam. We talk about the grit and the grind. And we bring your favorite people. And today in the building, we have the one and only Frank in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, how
Frank,
you doing, Bookie?
your time starts now.
Uh, yeah, I hear that. I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time. How you doing, Bookie? It's been a long time.
I know it's been a really long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't know you relocated. You were just trying to tell me that you relocated many years ago, and stuff like that. How are you doing?
I am well. I'm very well, man. It's so good to see your face.
Good to see you. Good to see you too. Good to see you. How's it going?
Welcome to Bookie's Place.
Yeah, Bookie's place. I hear the Bookie's place is like a whole studio setup. You have all the Clyde lights, all the spotlights, the studio, everything going on. You have a talk show over there, right?
We're just trying, we're trying to be like y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have a talk show. I don't have a talk show.
Listen, man, we just want to appreciate you for being a very integral part of our growing up, man. You,
Yeah. No, when
you
when
were
when
the
you say that, it makes me feel a bit like a relic, like I'm very old.
no. You started early. Everything we're trying to do now, you guys laid the path, man. And
Yeah,
a lot of people don't understand that when you walk a path and it's a path, it's
yeah.
because someone walked before you. Because
Oh,
if someone hadn't gone before you, you would have to get an axe and a thing to cut make a way. But someone made a way. So
yeah. And
you
and the funny
made a way.
the funny thing is that there were people before me, a lot of people before me, and those people are not given the credit that they deserve. Those people are the people that put pearls of wisdom, gems of knowledge into all of us, and that was precursory to our path in broadcasting. People like Yinka Craig, John Momo, Patrick OK, you
Wow.
know, and even the ladies are not there. Are not, the ladies are there too. We had Ruth Benemezia Opia, we had Sienna Razak Lawal, Elizabeth Nze Uzoku. All people, they were the stars that they were part of a constellation that illuminated our path to be what we are.
We love them, but none of them made us stay. You are the only person that would say, don't go anywhere. And we wouldn't go anywhere. He said, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Those were the days. Those were the good old days. Very good old days. Yeah, very nice. Thank you for
So
having me.
you're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bookie's Place. So let me tell you briefly what we do at Bookie's Place because it's your show. This is totally your show.
Oh,
We don't
really?
talk about the glitz or the glam. We talk about the grit and the grind. We talk
Okay.
about the necessary ingredients that people need to do life. In a world where something will just come from nowhere and take your identity in a second. You've been a banker for like 20 years and somebody just comes and you have to start from scratch. So we bring people like you to share your life's journey. When you were down, when you cried, when you second guessed yourself, so that we can hand them practical tools like, listen, man, if I did it, I went through that and got up, you have no excuses. So you're going to start from the beginning because it's about ordinary people in their ordinary lives doing
Yeah.
extraordinary things.
All right.
So you
Okay.
start from the
Let me,
beginning where you
let,
were born and we
let me
flow
start.
with you.
All right. I was born in Kano State. I was born in Kano State. I was born in 1972. Last week was my 48th birthday. And
Wow.
I was born in Kano, and I went to primary school. I went to a nursery school in Kano, and I had a British principal. So that really sculptured the way I talk and everything because we spoke English, and because of that, I don't know how to speak Hausa. I understand some, but I don't really know how to speak Hausa. And that's one of my main regrets in my life, that I don't know how to speak Hausa. And I was born in Kano, you know. Anyway, so when growing up in Kano, I was suddenly, because I was a brilliant kid, so I took the common entrance and I was sent to Calabar. You know, I left my family. I was like I was like a little goldfish that was thrown into the sea with sharks. And I went. I had to fend for myself, be by myself in boarding house and stuff like that. So my my sad story started in boarding house. As a matter of fact, I have not told. Well, my wife knows about it. But in school, in my school, I almost got raped twice. I was in a boys' school, so twice, two times, I almost got raped. But I escaped. Senior students who would coax me and say, "Hey, protect you," because the school was very rough. Seniors used to flog the hell out of people. So a couple of seniors tried to coax me, entice me, and I didn't know that they were gay and all that. So that thing taught me how not to trust people. I just said, you know what, my family is on the other side of Nigeria. I'm here by myself, and it taught me how to fend for myself. It was a harrowing experience that I'm sure if kids nowadays experience that, they won't have the metal to go through that. But I don't know how I did it, but I told myself I'll never be vulnerable to not only any person, but to any situation. So that's how boarding started. So I stayed in boarding house for like a year, almost 2 years. I started going from the house. My mom was telling me, "Hey, why don't you want to stay in boarding?" I said, "You know what? I read better at home." So that's when I started finding that even in spite of hardship, you could still find a way. You could still find a way, even in terms of anything that happened. I was in a strange society. I wouldn't say strange society because I'm from a Ibom state, but they sent me to Calabar, and Calabar is where my mother is from. But I still felt that I was a stranger at home, and all that. Anyway, I shook that off. You see,
Wow.
so the moral of the story is many people carry a lot of burdens. I think they give these burdens too much credit because, if you survive a harrowing experience, it's for a reason. You understand? You're not to dwell on, oh, this happened to me, it ruined my life. No, no, no. You have to look forward. You'll be like, I'm thankful God got me out of it. So I'm looking forward. I'm going forward. But anyway, I finished secondary school and I decided to proceed to university to study medicine. So I wrote JAM for medicine, but I didn't get the cutoff point. So I was supposed to go into a paramedic course instead. But I don't know what happened. The slots were taken, and before you know it, I just found myself, I wasn't admitted. I was sitting in limbo, waiting for an admission that I knew wouldn't come. So I decided to go and do a what do they call it, remedial course. So I did that. Then instead of going into the course that my heart felt, well, at the time I felt I was supposed to be a medical doctor because my father said you had to be one of three things: medical doctor, engineer, or lawyer. So I said, okay, I'll go for medical doctor because I was a science student. But I didn't. I found myself in the agriculture department. And because my mates had moved on, I said, you know what? I think let me just study something. And that's bad because I feel that it is better for you to study what you enjoy. You understand? You can't say, hey, I want to be a banker, but you know what? Since I didn't get banking and finance, let me go study, let me study biochemistry, then graduate, then your heart will not be in it. It's just wrong. It's a wrong vocation from the get-go. So I studied, I found myself in agriculture. I said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go on. So during my agricultural course, I studied animal science. So during my course, that's when I knew that I had, a propensity towards the arts, broadcasting, not theater arts, broadcasting. And I felt that I had something to give in that regard. But already I was second year in animal science. I wasn't interested in the course. So I really had a lot of, people criticizing me for not coming to class because my heart wasn't in it. But I had the uncanny ability to cram my whole course and just deliver in exams and everything. So when we got to final year in school, I started emceeing shows in school. Then I went to the radio station. The day I went to the radio station in Calabar, and I auditioned that day. They said I should start the next day. I just went there, read the script they gave me. I read one line, the guy knocked. I said I should come out. So I was like, oh, geez, am I this bad or what? So when he came out, I said, start tomorrow. Where have you been? Idiot. Start tomorrow. I was like, start tomorrow, like really? He said, start tomorrow. So I started doing one 1 hour program. It was very nice. But anyway, let me compress this story so that I can move along faster because I have a lot of things to talk about. So I did I found myself on TV, a breakfast television show, and I was in my third year. And the whole department, my whole animal science department, they erupted. I don't know if it was envy, I don't know if it was jealousy, I don't know if, it was just unspeakable to them that someone would be in animal science, a course as prestigious as animal science, will be lurking around the arts department. So it seemed as if they were saying, hey, it's an abomination, As a matter of fact, when we were in final year, I was voted the most likely not to succeed in life in my department. Yes. I always say that every time. People will be shocked. I was voted a very unserious student, that the person they are sure won't make it, won't amount to anything because of his unserious. And I don't blame them because my heart wasn't in animal science, So they used to see me on TV, hear me on radio, see me doing campus shows. They said, this guy is not serious. As a matter of fact, one lecturer said I needed deliverance. He came to me and said he knows a pastor that would pray the seriousness away. Anyway, I graduated. When I graduated, I came to Lagos. So when I got to Lagos, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I want to be into TV. I want to be a television presenter. I want to be a radio presenter. And I also want to be a columnist. So when I came to Lagos, I saw that, I came to Lagos. I was staying with my father then. I came to Lagos with the Ghana Must Go Back. I served that after doing my youth service in Kano. And I came to Lagos. So I came with the Ghana Must Go Back. And I said, how am I going to get work? So I was asking, people say, hey, you have to be in a clique in Lagos. You can't go and walk in. I said, okay, I'll show you people how to do it. Because based on my experience of how, to try to look for solutions in spite of hardship, I was very, very talented at that. So I decided to go to, firstly, I went to DBN television. I said, which television station would I like to work? Meanwhile, I was doing this just by myself, thinking, I think I like DBN TV. I'm going to work in DBN TV. And I went to DBN TV, sat down. You know what I told them? Since they say you require a click, I told them, hey, I'm from Encomium. I'm a columnist with Encomium magazine that I write columns for, but I am a trained broadcaster. So I would like to audition for here. And I was talking to the guy who looked at me, the confidence and everything. The guy said, okay, you know what? I'll do an audition for you. He did an audition for me and he said, wow, you're not actually bad, So he said I should come the next week. So I left DBN television. I went to Encomium and I now told them, hey, I work with DBN TV and I can write I can write columns. I can write columns. The guy said, you can write. I said, I have a couple of articles right here. So I had written, a
So
couple
you
of
were not on encomium at all.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I just got to Lagos. I wasn't. So I told them I told DBN I'm from Encomium. Then I went to DBN to Encomium, and I told them I work with DBN TV. I'm a presenter there, but I write columns. The guy said, okay, let me see your article. I was talking to the Azu Arinze.
Wow.
Yeah. So Azu Arinze said, oh, yeah, you can. Okay, where's your article? So he took it. He read the first paragraph. Read the second one, looked at it. He said, you wrote this.
You wrote this?
I wrote this. I said, I have like 8 more at home. The guy said, you wrote this. I said, I wrote this. He said, plagiarism is a crime. Plagiarism. Anyway, so the guy now said, he's not going to put me on Encomium. That he has a magazine called Real Stars. He's going to put my article there. And I could be giving articles weekly basis. So in a week, I fulfilled 2 of my dreams in a week, in spite of the hardship. I didn't have any money. I could barely move around, but I used the opportunity. I entered, and I started.
How were you surviving?
How was I surviving? That was. Let me tell you something. You know how I survived. This suffering I experienced in secondary school, even some parts of university. I used to trek to school. Even some parts of university, I feel that
it's not Corona. It's not Corona.
Oh, you mean it's
everybody wants to wear mask.
Don't worry. I wasn't even shaking. Even if I was, I mean, it would be absurd to think that I would get it through the phone.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, the thing is, I forget where was
how you survived.
Yeah. I had suffered. So at any point when I got to Lagos, I felt it was a gift. I felt this was better than where I was coming from. That's how I look at it. I look at my lowest point ever, suffering, and I said, you know what? Even if I don't have anything here, I am better than where I'm coming from. And that's just, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. So when I worked in DBN TV for just 1 year. 1 year. And in that 1 year felt like 4 years. You know why? Because sometimes I'll sleep at the office. I don't have money to go back home. My salary wasn't up to 10,000 naira. But I said, all right, you know what? I have an opportunity to be sleeping maybe on a bench in the office. Okay. And nobody used to disturb me. But while I'm sleeping, I would start learning all the equipment. So I started learning the camera. I started learning how to edit at night while everybody went home. I'll be there. Sometimes I'll be in the office for 2 weeks until my immediate boss, the would say, you know what? Just go home and give me some money. Then I'll go home. Then I'll stay with 3 days, then come back again. Stay another like 3 weeks at the office. So by the time it got to 1 year, I had so much knowledge. I could be a producer. I learned how to write news. I learned how to produce. I learned my presentation went up a notch and everything. So I now left DBN TV. I just woke up one day and said, you know what? I left DBN TV. I didn't have a dime in my pocket. They hadn't paid. So you know what I did? I heard of Costaris Motors. The reason I'm saying these things, my story is a sub story, but it's also inspirational because it will inspire. I think it would identify someone that is going through a similar thing. But if you follow these principles, things will work out for you. So I went to Costaris. When I said I handed my letter in at DBN Television at Awolowo Road, I now took a bike, went to Costaris, didn't know anybody. Went to Costaris, said, I'm looking for media department. So the guy in charge of media was on the phone. They said, that's him there. So I sat in front of him. And on the phone, he was talking to somebody. saying, hey, see, I've been waiting for the edited version. You've not done anything, and we've given you money. What are you going to do? Blah blah blah. He was just talking, then hung up the phone. Then said, what can I do for you? I said,
Excuse me.
It's not what you can do for me. It's what
I can do for you.
I said, I couldn't help but overhear you talk about editing stuff and everything. What's the problem? I'm here to solve it. I said, where are you from? I said, I work with DBN TV. Meanwhile, I just resigned. So I just said, hey, I work with DBN TV. I just came to see if I could be of help in anything. You just never know. The guy said on the phone, people say on the phone, I was talking to this guy that was supposed to edit and stuff and everything, and he disappointed me. I said, editing? What was I? He said he has foreign clips. He just wants someone to edit and voice it so that it will Nigerianize it. I said, what clips of that? He said he had clips of the BMW 3 Series, BMW 5 Series, BMW 6 Series, then the Discovery, the Land Rover Discovery, the Land Rover Defender, and the Land Rover. There's another Land Rover 3. So 6 vehicles. I said, you have all the clips? I said, clips. He gave me these. He said, those are the clips. I said, you know what? I could do this thing for you in a week, but I need an advance. You say, he said, that's what the other person said and disappeared. I said, you know what? Just have faith in me. As a matter of fact, I said, let me tell you. I said, let me watch the clips. So I watched the clips. I said, I'm going to take this because I already had the experience from DBN TV, you know. So I just said, hey, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this, mash it up, then put some music. Then I'm going to voice it myself, you know. So they need an authoritative voice. I said, but for the 3 series, the 3 series is not like a masculine car. So I'll make sure my voice goes up an octave when I'm voicing that. Then, but when we get to the 7 series, that's when I'll come with the prestige pauses and everything. The guy was just looking at me. He said, how much do you need again? And I gave him one sum. I never would have said. I just gave him a sum that was like, he said, you know what? And I said, look, the thing is that I don't have the money now to do it. It's going to take a bit long. You give me the tapes, don't give me any advance, start doing it. But I really need something to start. Right there and then, the guy gave me 10 times the salary that I was earning DBN TV. He gave me 100,000 naira and said, you know what, you do that. I'm going to give 100,000 naira then. He said, you do that. That's half. When you do it in 1 week, collect the other half. You know what I did? I took the money. I went that night. I went to edit it, did all the voices and everything. 3 days later, I went back to him. He said, what are you doing here now? It was 1 week now. Why you did this? I said, I finished. Then you finished what? I said, I finished everything. Look at them. That was. So when I played this one, I said, fantastic. Play this one, fantastic. This. By the third, I said he's not going to watch the other ones. He wrote me a check for the. So that's when I knew. I said, you know what? I said, you know what? I could do this. I said, this thing, I really could do it, but I need another job. So I went and auditioned for Radio Nigeria. Went to Radio Nigeria. I did an audition. And this time, they really used to see me a bit. You know, I just did an audition. And you know what they told me? The head of, he said, we are not employing, but I'm going to employ you. Why? Potential. You know what? I'll take you. You are going to go for training at the FRCN training school for 1 month. When you return, you'll see the difference. I said, oh, really? I said,
you know, I went there too, right?
Yeah. FRCN training school, beautiful experience. So I went there and we did it. I did it. Then when I came back, started reading the news, but I was still doing my side hustle, you know, and I was now media consultant to Charis Motors. Just out of, on the day that I left DBN TV, on that same day, I got something to do. Why? Because I didn't say, oh, now I'm without a job. Oh, what am I going to do? I just swung into action. I just went and I just did it. But anyway, employed at Radio Nigeria. Now, the thing with Radio Nigeria, this is civil service, right? I mean, they had a shift called the graveyard shift. Nobody wanted the graveyard shift because people were going for the morning shifts and everything. And they put me on the graveyard shift. So I went to my programs manager, Ilemio Koka, then. And I told her, I said, hey, why are they giving me this? And I was complaining. I ranted and told me, listen to me. Let me tell you something. He said, I see you are a special boy. You know what you're going to do? Go there. I believe you can do something there. Nobody wants it. So if nobody wants it, you know, maybe it's time for you to change the whole thing. So I came up with a program called Cruise Control. When GSM started, Cruise Control on Metro FM, they would send me text messages and I'll just be playing lovely music. You know, I'll play 3 tracks back to back. Then I'll read all the messages. Then, funnily, it was a basic program, but people loved it. People loved it. So, while I was at Radio Nigeria, at my friend's place, you know, I used to squat with my friends. When I left, that was after I left DBN TV. I started squatting with my friends. I was in between jobs, but I was doing things for Costaris Motors, but I had to squat with my friend. And that friend, one day I woke up in his house, went to the parlor. There was this show on TV, a South African show. The presenter was just doing, I said, who's this? You know, and they were winning money. South African show. You know what I said to my, he's still alive till date. I told him, I said, you know what? This show, I can present it. That's what I said. I can present this show. Then I walked away. So people said, you know, okay, every show if you present, I said, no, really, I can present this show. It's my kind of show. And I left. That show, South African version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And that was in the year 2000. Then in 2004, while I was in Radio Nigeria, there was an audition for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in Nigeria. They did the first one. I didn't have. The owner of the show said, I'm still looking for somebody. Let's do a second audition. No, he said, organize a second audition. And I was available. So I came, looked at the script, went into the. Meanwhile, I was hearing applause inside. The other people that were auditioning, there was applause because doing well. So my turn, I held the script. When I held the script, they took the script from me. I said, you know what? I said, no, I need the script. They said, no, just do anything. They were tired at this point because I was one of the last people. They said, just do anything. So you know what I did? I now cast my mind back to the South African version of that show, and I started doing it. I did it and everything. So as I stuttering at one point, I heard someone in the back. The guy shouted in a growly voice, you know, continue. You know, I was like, I should continue. I said, no, I'm trying to remember this. It said continue, just do. So I did freestyle and everything. And a week later, he called me and said, we're considering you with 5 other people. Oh, that's good news. After 2 days, he called me, considering you with 3 other people. You know, I said, you know what? Stop this. Let me tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. You are stubborn to God. You are stubborn. I said, you know what you're going to do? Forget those 2 people. Forget those. I said, forget them. It is me. You see this show? If you do it with me, there are possible you won't even believe the gem you got. The man said, the man now said, okay, you know what? If you want to do, which other person would you, apart from you, would you think would do the show? I said, the broadcaster I think would do the show is Yinka Craig. Yinka Craig was alive. I said, it's Yinka Craig, but you have to tell him to go faster because Yinka has slow, dynamic presentation. Just tell him to go a bit faster. I didn't know I was on speakerphone, and people they laughed. I said, was I on speakerphone? I said, you know. And the next day, I was sleeping. I got missed calls, and I called back, and the guy said, "You know what? Come to the office. I think we've made a decision." And that's how Who Wants to Be a Millionaire started. But when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire started, my salary was 165,000 naira a month because we were struggling. But the show was good. But the sponsors didn't want to plunk down the kind of money. So we now brought in 5 sponsors. So sometimes when the 5 sponsors will sign up for like 3 months, then when we go back to resign, they'll be posing and saying this. So we were living from hand to mouth. It was difficult and everything. But my job was to come and tell you everything is fine. You understand? You know, I go, who wants to be a millionaire? You want to play? Hey, I did. So we're going through hardships. But then one day it all changed. MTN came on board. So MTN said, you know what? If we want to come on board, we're going to chase everybody away. We don't care about all this. So we're not going to share. We want to be the title sponsor, and that's that. So we now did the deal. The other sponsors were withering away. They didn't know what was happening. Now, do you know what happened? So my sad story. When MTN came, they said they wanted another host. So by that time, I was presenting, and my boss did not know how to tell me. So they started auditioning people behind my back. So some of the boys at the office said, you know what? We're going to tell Frank. So they told me. I said, oh, really? They're auditioning people? I said, oh, okay. Well, maybe that's the end. Maybe I really have to go back to what my heart is telling me. And I really loved filmmaking. So I wanted to go to New York Film School. So I was planning. I just said, you know what? Wants to Be a Millionaire is over and everything. So I left. I didn't even go to the office. I was just doing my thing. So I heard they now said they were, you know, going to do a relaunch of Wants to Be a Millionaire. MTN. As a matter of fact, MTN did a fantastic job relaunching it because they had camels on Third Mainland Bridge. Camels spreading posters and talking about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the MTN Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was a fanfare. And I was sitting by the wayside. I was saying, oh, well, I'm not going to be a part of it, but it's okay. And that's my attitude to life, because I feel that if something is not yours, it's not yours. So that means maybe God is not a selfish person. It's not a selfish God. He's going to do something that will suit you. Just said, maybe that's not me. So I was on a bike and I received a call on the day of the relaunch. I got a call from my boss. I said, hey, what's up? I said, hey, how you doing, sir? He said, where have I been? I said, well, you know, doing stuff. Then the guy now said, you know we are relaunching, right? I said, yeah, but I do know that you were auditioning other people. So I just felt maybe I'm not in the running. The guy said, what are you talking about? He said the relaunch is in 3 hours. You are the person, because nobody they did the audition and they looked at my tape and nobody could match them. Obviously, because I've had experience doing the show already. So I had a head start. So the guy, I said, well, I'm planning to go to film school in New York. The guy said, what? You're planning what? Get your ass to. I said, I'm in a bike. I don't have this. You say, where are you? You say, get your ass to VI. We're going to get you a suit, put you in a suit. We're going to buy everything. Get your ass there. I was like, but I said, no, but. He said, no, but get your ass. What are you talking about? I said, so I went. That's when I had leverage now. So I went there. He put me in a suit in minutes and everything. I was ready. And when they relaunched, I was the host. I was revealed as the host. I thanked them and I came, and I did everything. After the whole thing, the guy said I should wait. My boss said I should wait. And he said, okay, so what's going on? I said, it's going to cost you. The guy said, what? I said, it's going to cost you. Because if I'm doing this thing, it's going to be right. This time, I'm going to do the show up to the extent that anybody you bring will suffer. He said, I said, no. I said, I'm not saying this to brag. I was joking before. Now that we have this leverage and we have these people behind us, it's going to go places. But you know what? If you think it's going to go the height of Mount Everest, I'm going to knock it out of the stratosphere. The guy was looking at me, said, "Really?" I said, "Sit and watch and see." So, but it's going to cost you. The guy said, "All right, let's talk." So I went to Ikoyi Club and we talked, signed. When I knew, I said, "Okay, if they're going to pay me this much to do this show, I have to bring my A game." So I went, I disappeared for 3 weeks. What was I doing? I was watching every show. Every show. When I say every show, I was watching comedies, I was watching sitcoms, I was watching talk shows, game shows, everything. Then I'll be jotting down, I had templates for every aspect of the show. So if I want to go for a break, instead of saying we'll take a break, sometimes I say we'll take a break, but I had templates like, hey, you know what, we're going to pause for the cause of a commercial break, but don't worry, we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I used to do stuff like that. I had templates. I was working. And the trick I learned from someone was, he said, prepare so much that when you now start performing, act as if you didn't prepare. You understand? You prepare for your role so much that when you're doing the role, people will look at you and say, you know what? This guy is just natural. But they don't know that you prepared. That's the thing. So I took it. I was studying every move. I was watching the UK host. I was watching the Japanese host. Even I didn't have the foggiest idea what he was saying. I was going through all that. And that's when everything was going. Then something happened. I had marital problem. And that was the lowest. That, as a matter of fact, that was supposed to knock me off the show. Because the person I was involved with, I don't want to go into it. I've never talked about it.
Please do.
No. I feel I'm going to talk about it in a way that won't cause any problems. But the long and short of it was that I was depicted as someone who was beating his wife. I was depicted as someone involved in domestic violence. And it hurt my heart. Why it hurt my heart is that I am the woman's protector. I'll give you an instance. There was two instances. There was a time at Sonia bus stop many years ago in Lagos, before Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I got down from a bus, and as I was crossing the express, the bus that I got down from, the conductor slapped the woman. I turned back. While cars were coming. I didn't care. I ripped that guy's clothes. The other incident was at the museum. I had a couple of aunties that used to had a restaurant at the museum near opposite museum center. So there was this girl that used to serve there. I remember her name, Maureen. She used to serve there. Then I was with my then wife at the place. We were eating. Then one guy was being nasty to the girl. And you know what I told my wife then? I told her, I said, hey, you know what? If that guy touches that girl, you're going to see what will happen. I said, Frank. I said, watch. The guy slapped her. I don't know how I scrambled on tables. I don't even know what I did to the guy till today, but I knew that he was flat on the ground. So when accusations were pointed to me like that, it was the lowest part of my life. As a matter of fact, I was so depressed. I was very depressed. Why? I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to say. But I used to say, people who know me know me. But you know what happened? I traveled to the UK After I left the marriage, I traveled to the UK. My boss calls me and says, you know what? This thing is getting out of hand, and the sponsor wants to drop you as the host. I said, okay, I understand. He said, but they want breakdown talks with you. They want to hear your own story. But the other person involved had gone to do it. There was this domestic violence documentary, and she was depicting that, oh, she was, she's a victim of domestic violence, and I just said, you know what, God, anything that wants to happen, let it happen. But let me see how it will go. The UK, I got back from the UK. From the airport, I went to the meeting because it was an urgent meeting. I told my guy, I'm going to come back. No worry. So I went straight from the airport to Southern Sun to meet with the sponsors. There were 5 of them, all frowning. They now said, Frank, this is it. We're going to, we'll have to let you go because this is that. But you know what? They said, we want to hear your side of the story as, a formality. All right, no problem. So when I started talking, I said, I'm going to talk from the beginning. So I started talking from the beginning. What transpired? I didn't go halfway. I was just telling them, pouring my heart out and telling them, this is what happened, and everything. By when I got to the middle of the story, they told me, stop. I said, no, you have to hear everything. They said, no, stop. I said, no. I started. Of course, I can't tell you anything because I always had this code of secrecy because I have children with the other person. So I don't want a situation where I would just, just display dirty linen, and my children will be like, so. But the long and short of it is, after the meeting, they told me, you know what, Frank, we'll see you on Saturday. And they left. And I did that show. I've been doing the show for 13 years. 13 years. And that point was low for me because I was depressed. I couldn't open my mouth. Even on social media, people used to come up to me and insult me. And, I was a ShopRite. A woman came, you're ashamed to your generation. They used to abuse me and everything, but I wouldn't say anything. I would just hold it. It was painful. And that's when I learned a valuable lesson, that people could love you 1 minute, but when they hear anything, they're gonna switch. They'll switch that thing on you, and before you start treating you like dirt. So when I learned that, I now said, okay, you know what, Frank, in this role of presenter, who wants to be a millionaire, you are not special. You are really not special. It's God that put you there. Do your job. Don't think you are anything. And it really helped me curb my estimation of myself. I just knew that, hey, you know what? I'm still a speck of dust in front of God. No matter the adulation I get from people, I'm still a speck of dust. But I moved on. I left my marriage I left in 2010, and I said, oh, I'm not going to marry again. But I met someone, and it was strange. I was thinking of marriage already. I said, God, geez, I said, am I like, what the heck is going on with me and everything? So I met her. In less than 2 years, got married again, and I have been so happy. I have never been happier in all my life. As a matter of fact, it's just like if you meet your friend, you meet your best friend, and you get married to your best friend. It's always a thrill. I'm not saying that I'm the grumpy one in the relationship. I'm always grumpy and everything, But she understands me, and she'll be like, is it not this one? And stuff like that. So I've had times when depression almost kills me. Depression almost killed me. The next depression that happened that nobody seemed to realize was when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire came to an end. And when it came to an end, on social media, some people started saying, hey, left Who Wants to Be, they sacked you from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There was a debacle. And they said, Punch reported that, I was dropped as host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it wasn't true, So negotiations didn't come to, it wasn't, let's just say we didn't come to a sort of mutual consent based on the figure. There was a new sponsor. So I said, you know what? Before I even had the chance to say, you know what? So I think it was depicted to Punch newspapers that they just put two and two together that they felt I was dropped. So they just splashed it. So I came out with my own. I just said, hey, I walked away because the negotiation wasn't proper. But please, anybody that is hosting the show again, please support them. And, best of luck to the studio, the production studio. And that time, people for no just reason, they started insulting me on Twitter. I used to be very active on Twitter, and people would just be bringing, hey, you were fired, and everything. And for personal things like that, I never used to reply. I had replies, but I never used to reply until one day my head turned. I said, you know what? Enough is enough. And I started being, not that I didn't go with so much vitriol, like, oh, someone insults me and I'll now come at. I said, if I want to make a reply, it will be a very sensible reply because I had the experience. I'm a podcaster, so I will know what to. So I started delivering what my followers on Twitter would say, clapbacks, everything. Serious clapbacks. I'll give you a clapback. As a matter of fact, they call me I'm known now. I'm not known as Frank formerly of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm Frank the Savage King now because I'm not proud of it. No, I'm not proud of it. You really have to. This generation, if you want to be part of, you have to be like them a bit. You cannot fraternize with pigs without getting mud on your skin. So that is what it's been something else. So that's how now they were able to lay off, because I found a mechanism. Most people still say something, some I will ignore, some I'll give you a clap. When I give you a clap back, you become famous for the guy that Frank took out on Twitter and everything. But so now I was now saying, hey, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Now the problem with Millionaire is this: if you have a show of that Ada, you can't go to something small again. And there are many projects that came along. I'll look at it. I'll look at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I say, I know what's going to happen if I go and take this job now. Everybody's going to say, oh boy, Frank, oh geez, Frank, I'm falling my hand. So you know what I did? I decided to start creating content. I was in love with production. So I learned filmmaking online, learned how to be a DP, cinematography. As a matter of fact, I learned how to do color grading. I'm a certified colorist. I learned that on I can color with DaVinci Resolve. I can color with Film Convert. Film Convert is a bit easy. I can do it with Lumetri on Premiere Pro, and stuff like that. So I'm a certified colorist in DaVinci Resolve, and so from there, I started doing projects. My wife is an interior designer, so I decided to be her videographer. Then, because of her Are you
Yes,
there?
okay. Then
Okay.
because of her.
So
Mhm.
yeah, because of her, I went into photography, and I started doing. When she does projects, I'll go take videos of her and everything. So I'll learn my craft and everything. So I decided to, be creating content for companies, and stuff like that. And that has been, I love, as a matter of fact, I love that more than I love presenting. I love production. So when I see that, oh, that's my work. When I'm watching a movie, I'm looking at the story anymore. I'm looking at, wow. I see that guy's using 3-point lighting, Rembrandt lighting, no backlight. That's a kicker. Then they color graded with Kodak 5213 lots. Then they did. That's what I'll be doing in movies. My wife be like, "You're crazy." I said, "Yeah, yeah." Brand me. I said, I can't get it out of my. Anywhere I look, I say, no, no, no. That. I said, why is the sound? Why is it sounding like that? Why is it? So, I'm so into creating content. Then we did an audition. I did a friend of mine bought the franchise Price is Right. Then he had been doing auditions. Then he called me and said, "Hey, would you like to do? I'm the owner of Price is Right." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes, I want to start the show." He said, "Hey, do you think you can do it?" I said, "Yes, I can. I can do it now." Is it not Price is Right? He said, "Yes." I said, "It's presented in America by Drew Carey." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I can do. I can do it now." That was even easier than Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He's now said, "Okay, that I should come to his office." So when I went to his office, he told me, he said he's been auditioning people. I said, "Oh, okay, so you want me to audition?" He looked at me and said, "You to audition? I'm not going to audition. You want to do it now, kick everybody out. You do it." I was like, "Okay." But unfortunately, the show couldn't get on because off the ground because of there were, you know, they had sponsor issues. But see, let me tell you something. That is the point I would have been depressed and said, "Oh, so this show that came to me, this Price is Right that came to me now is not working and everything." If I wanted to wallow in self pity and everything, I don't. It would have been bad for my mental health. But the story I have to tell people is this: that if things are not going your way, it's not a permanent. It's not going to be permanent. You have to dust yourself up and continue and look at the bright side and say, hey, you know what? Where I am is better than where I am coming from, and where I am going will be better than where I am. That's it. That's it. But most people are so engulfed in this, depression thing. Especially now there's coronavirus. Everybody's just sitting down waiting to see, oh, what are we gonna do and everything. This is the time. This is the time that everybody should reset and start studying and doing what everything is online. There's everything online, free courses online. As a matter of fact, I just found out one website where you can get free books in PDF and EPUB format. EPUB format is the one when when you put it on your iPhone on your
Mhm.
books app, you'll now see it animating like a book and you read it. Beautiful stuff. So if those things are available to us, why can't we make use of it? I told young people I'm talking to, I said, if we had the internet when we were growing up, we would all, my generation, we would all be geniuses. We would be geniuses because you know what? I used to trek 2 miles to go and collect a book to read. I used to read Robert Ludlum, read anything. I used to read anything, and there were no books, no books. Now everything is online, and you guys are using this opportunity given to you by God to insult people on the internet. I'm going to say, hey, this is wasting your data. I said, you people have, I said, are you joking? And so some of them said, hey, it's easy for you to say because you did Wants to Be a Millionaire, you have a platform. I said, look, let me tell you something. I came to Lagos with Ghana Must Go. I came to Lagos with Ghana Must Go. And all these problems you are facing, I probably had double, because there was no internet, nothing to keep you going or to even improve you while you are waiting for that opportunity that could change your life. And now you guys are here and you are not making use of it. Free books, free courses. It has free courses, it has paid courses. The average cost of a course is $10. $10 now would be like 4,000 naira. So 4,000 naira. Just pay 4,000 naira, get a course, study it, video course, step by step. They have course materials for you. You download them and you walk along with them till you finish the course. Go to the next one. Know that, okay, if I want to be a photographer, that means which camera do you have? You can start with your iPhone. You can start with your iPhone and you can say, okay, how do they make iPhone pictures look good? Editing. So I have to edit that. Which editing thing is Photoshop too bogus? Okay, maybe I'll start with Lightroom. So you start with Lightroom. You learn a course. So just go, instead of learning how to use a camera, start learning Lightroom. You learn when you finish Lightroom. By the time you finish Lightroom, you'll be eager to get the camera. You'll be eager to start snapping. You start snapping and you now practice your retouching. You know, that's the thing. If people can realize that the opportunity they seek is just right in front of them. Mariah Carey sang a song called Hero, you know, and I never knew the meaning of the song until I listened to the lyrics very well. She said, that hero is in you. They think it's fictitious, you know. They think everybody going through hardships. I know the world is hard, even for Christians. God said, just said ahead, I did not say it was going to be easy. So if that's for the most important thing for the Christian race, how difficult do you think it will be for normal things? It's going to be difficult. But you know what? If you persist, if you resist temptation, you persist and you are steadfast and say, I want to do that, and I'm going to be, in spite of all the difficulties. If we were looking and say, oh, yeah, this country doesn't offer opportunity, I hear all these young people wailing on the internet. Oh, this country doesn't give opportunity. Oh, this country. Oh, these people, these politicians don't care for us and everything. You're wasting time, because even in America, they are still complaining. In America, they have all the utilities and everything, but people are still complaining. What does that tell you? Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to walk the walk. You have to walk through. You have to walk on hot coals sometimes. You have to, but you are going to still be making progress. My ups and downs have been very undulating, you know. I've had crests, I've had troughs, but I still surf on the wave, and I know that, you know, as far as I have breath in me, I know I'm still going to be greater than I am. I'm still going to go forward. You know, I can stay comfortable and say, okay, you know what? I look at myself. That's why it's good, you know, to be very open-minded, to be working hard, and to be very versatile. I can stay now and just say, you know what? I'm not going to do anything this year. I'm going to just be taking photographs of my wife's work, because she's an award-winning interior designer. So I'll take photographs and do.
You have 28 seconds left. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. All right. So thank you so much for that. What I want to tell people is that just believe in yourself and forget about what's happening around. Focus and you'll make it in life. Learn.
Thank you so much, Frank. Edoho, everybody. Listen, we love you. Wish you all the best. Follow Frank.